life and renamed me. I was born and brought up in Mumbai. Roughly around more than 50 million people from more than 30 countries celebrate on my birthday. That's a different thing that they celebrate International Women's Day, and I celebrate my birthday on March 8th. I come from an humble family. My father is a carpenter, my mother is a homemaker, and my younger brother works with General Electric as senior systems engineer. The most important quality that my parents gave me and taught me is patience, which over the period of time has evolved as one of my strengths. With lot of expectations of scoring enough marks to get into a science field after my secondary school level, I was struggling even to get into the commerce field with average marks in my hand. It was at this point of time I was totally undecided or uncertain about my future. And it was at this point of time that I wished I would have put in more efforts and pressed undo button in my life. It was barely 10 days after I finished my final exams of the BCom degree that one of my friends forced me to register for a college campus interview. Due to my shy nature, I was reluctant to move forward and register for it. Somehow I registered for the interview. However, due to the miracle and the parents' blessing, the situation turned around on that day. I scored the highest in the aptitude and was the first one to receive the offer letter from Tata Consultancy Services to join their branch finance team in Mumbai. I worked with TCS for 7 years and I pursued and completed my MBA from Nasi Monji Institute of Management Studies in Mumbai under the sponsorship of TCS. It has been wonderful 3 years in Bahrain working with YBA Kanu Group, prior to which I was working with Edelweiss Financial Services back in Mumbai. I wish to contribute towards society, towards people betterment, child education, uh, people empowerment, and I largely see myself contributing towards it in future. Dear Toastmasters, today when I wish to press undo button in my life, I remember only one thing. Even though God has not given an undo button in our life, He has surely given us much more powerful redo option where we can rework, rethink, make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, redo ourselves as a better human being marching towards success and happiness. Today, I have pressed redo button of my life by joining this Dazzling Toastmasters Club in order to gain dazzling learning experience and with the help of dazzling people like you all. Thank you and over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, TM Dashanand. That was a dazzling speech by you, who has also incorporated the theme so well. And also, it was a pleasure knowing you at your icebreaker speech. Next, moving on to the next speech, I would like to invite a very intelligent, energetic, and eloquent Toastmaster of our club, TM Nishit, who is presenting Project 2 of Level 1 of Presentation Mastery, titled Dad, You Are the Best, but a Miser. While I was in conversation with him about Diwali, he did not really have many memories to share with. He said he likes Diwali, but he has never celebrated, or he did not really have memories to share with it. He is an IT intellect with more than 20 years of experience. He says he loves long drives and he enjoys playing tennis, traveling, a big time foodie as well. So can we have a huge round of applause to welcome TM Nish? Before that, I would like to, before that, I would like his evaluator, his evaluator, Toastmaster Ekans, to spell out the project criteria and objectives for Toastmaster Nishit.
Just give me a second. But I am the evaluator for Mayank or Nishit.
Yeah. I am the evaluator for Nishit as per the agenda. Thank you, TMOD, for the I will be giving the objectives. So, good evening, everyone. Especially the dazzling TMOD with the dazzling background. We are extremely bedazzled with the theme. Really, the presentation was very nice. So, thank you for that. The project objective of this of my speaker TM Nishit is in three folds. First, he has to give a speech, then receive a background and receive a feedback, and give the learnings from the feedback into a second speech. This is the project criteria. So today he is presenting his first speech for 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Nishit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ronak. Am I audible? Okay, good. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. And very good evening to ladies and gentlemen and Toastmasters of the club. The topic of my speech, Dad, you are the best. It's a dazzling statement any parent getting. Doesn't mean that mothers are not dazzling or mothers are not great. I'm not very partial about it. I say both of them are great. But the second part, you are a miser. The dazzle goes off. And any father can become confused as if he's reading a chartered accountant's auditor's report, which says statement of account is clear and true, but below ledger account do not tally with the profit and loss account. So any management would get confused with the dazzling part. But yes, if I look into it, Dad, you are the best. I'm very sure most of us would have heard this statement and would have felt the best and to be on the seventh cloud of the world. But then when your child comes and says to you, sorry, Dad, you are a bit miser also. There might be different reason, doesn't mean financially into it. Particularly when we are in a beautiful country of Kingdom of Bahrain or Middle East, where we have so many sheikhs who are billionaires of the world. And imagine if their son comes and tells a sheikh, you are the best, but a miser. What will happen to that dad? Similarly, the sheikh in Bahrain wanted a dazzling birthday celebration for his only son when he's getting into his 30th year and becoming a teenager. He talks to his secretary and says, what best can be done? My son should remember this birthday for the whole life. He says, sir, we are in the land of football players. Recently we won the championship also for the first time. This sport is on the seventh cloud in this country. Why don't you invite the world best two team, Argentina and Brazil, organize a football match? The father says, fantastic. Let's keep it a surprise. And I'm going to have a budget of millions of dollars into it, give a party to the whole country. Everybody should be given good food, good clothes, and nobody should be unhappy on that day. The D-Day arrives. Celebrations are done. People are extremely happy. Breakfast, lunch, even the plan for the lavish dinners are there. Everybody's getting what they could have thought of, or more than that. Please, youngsters, hold yourself. Don't get into the typical culture of Bahrain facilities that you get here. They were not the part of that day. So, sitting in the stadium with the two world best football teams over there, Brazil and Argentina, fighting, sweating out, everybody wants to have the goal done. The stadium is packed, shouting, enjoying with everything. The father is happy. And then he looks at his son, and his son is sitting down, dull. He says, son, did I miss anything for the today? Just tell me, it will be done right away. And he gives this statement and says, no, Dad, you are the best in the world. And he feels very proud. But you are a miser. And then he gets confused. And he says, can you tell me how these two statements make sense? Might be in my schooling and college, I could not get that literacy. And you at the age of 13, still stepping into your teen, have matured so much. The son says, see the sky. See the stadium, see the city. Everywhere is happiness, flowers, music, dance, food, everybody. He says, then that's the part you are the best. He says, okay, now which is the part where I'm a miser? He says, see the football ground. 22 players and one football. See the way they are fighting with each other just to get the hold of that football. Aren't you a miser to give the rest of the 21 people also football? You could just buy one for them. And then it opens up a major thing to you, ladies and gentlemen. For last 2 decades, I have been spelling this out. I thought of sharing this through this Toastmaster platform with you. It's not the mistake of the boy. It's not the mistake of the father who spent $1 million. It's a mistake. The boy does not know the rules of the game. The game he's watching, the game he's involved, unfortunately, he does not know that rules. Don't you think with the COVID around, with 21st century, with the changes happening across the world in the economies, political systems, and global boundaries, please think sincerely. Are you as a professionals on the right track? Are you updated? Do you know the rules of the game that you are playing? Are you sure about it? Or any time anything upgrade comes, for us to become more efficient, to become more advanced in profession, and we start thinking in a very miser way, what is the gain of this man or this lady while teaching us a new rules? Please wake up, grow up, and open the windows of your beautiful, intelligent brain and start thinking beyond it. And it's a high time. Let me give you out of my experience. If we do not learn the rule of the game today, we are surely going to be a boy of 30 years. Don't let that happen. Don't let the child come back to you and say, Dad, you were the best, but you lacked somewhere. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I just left out with this thought to you to ponder upon. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for this opportunity. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nishit, for that amazing speech. It was quite, you have left people to ponder upon so many thoughts. Moving on to the next speaker. He is one of the most inspiring speakers, I have seen a very dedicated sergeant at arms, Toastmaster Mayank. He is presenting Project 2, Level 2 of Strategic Relationships, titled Pendulum. It was so much fun discussing his memorable moments of Diwali. He mentioned about his childhood days when they all cousins used to purchase and burst 2 to 3 sacks of firecrackers. That was one of the most memorable times for him, not because of the firecrackers, but the fun they all had together. And one of the things he loves the most about Diwali, that it is a great reason for all relatives to come together and cherish the memories. Now, may I request his evaluator, Toastmaster Ekansh, to spell out the project criteria and objectives for Toastmaster Mayank?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Radhika. My speaker, Toastmaster Mayank, is attempting Project 2 under Level 2 of Strategic Relationships. The purpose of this project is for the member to identify his or her own cultural identities and the stereotypes that impact others' perceptions of him or her. So I wish Toastmaster Mayank all the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ekansh. Can we all have a huge round of applause in welcoming Toastmaster Mayank's speech titled Pendulum? Over to you, Mayank.
Thank you. Am I audible? Do you know how many religions are there in this world? Any guesses? No, it's approximately 4,600 religions across the globe, and we act as a pendulum between these religions. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Let me tell you that the biggest example of religious culture exists at my uncle's place. There, I'm having my 4 first cousins. The first one is married to Christian, second one to Hindu, third one to Sikh, and fourth one to Muslim. Hence, the religious pendulum is already there. And many of my relatives considers that a mini India is there in my family. I was born in a conservative Jain family. Therefore, I had a schooling from a Jain school. 90% of my friends in my childhood were Jains. I was so obsessed with the word Jain that by mistake during my third class, I called my maths tutor as Arvind Sahani Jain. I wish if Toastmaster Sam has chosen the word of the day as Jain, I could break his record today for the usage. Since I was in Jain school, I was easy to connect with my religion and culture because there was a one specific compulsory subject, principles of Jainism, that I was required to study. From there, I got some of the basic principles of Jainism, which are first, non-violence, second, no attachment, third, not lying, fourth, to remain single, and not to steal. But with the time, I actually felt that my relation with all such principles started fading. And I started stealing money from my dad's pocket, although I used to tell my mother at a later stage, and had violence with my fellow classmates, and even bunked the school by telling lies to my parents. Further, I'm not single now. I'm married to a girl in 2018. Her name is Vishali Agarwal. In the Indian culture, particularly northern part of India, after marriage, the girl is required to add the surname of her husband to her name. So the name should be Vishali Agarwal Jain. You must be wondering that why I'm giving such details to you. But there's a significant reason because many of the Toastmaster present here knows my name as Mayank Agarwal instead of Mayank Jain. And trust me, my wife takes a lot of pride by knowing that in Bahrain, majority of people knows me with her name instead of Mayank Jain. So, while I was the most indulgent person in my family, whereas my family is a strict follower of the Jainism. Why? Around, I usually sleep late in my night and my family gets up early in the morning, that around 4 a.m. So at that time, you must be wondering that how I can recollect such time. The reason is the alarm that I used to hear from my grandmother's room that exactly at 4 a.m. And from 4 a.m. till 8 a.m., she used to worship God. And I always wonder what exactly she asked from God, that too for such a long extended time. Now, getting over to my school time. At that time, usually had I usually celebrated my birthday not with the dazzling and delicious chocolate and pineapple cakes, but with some homemade milk cakes. So horrible the eating pattern we Jains were having, so it was next to impossible for me to invite any guest or friends over over lunch or dinner. You must be wondering that since starting I'm craving for food, but still I'm able to build such a good health. It was because of a pendulum in terms of my friend who actually served me everything for which I was starving for during my college days. My grandparents were staunch followers of the Jainism and had a strict vegetarian diet. Therefore, they never had the underground grown fruits or vegetables. But I'm that kind of person who always has extra onion in my omelette. That omelette is actually a pendulum between the my Jan ritual and my actual personality. So disturbing that I was having in my childhood. It was always disturbing for me to ask anyone to provide me the good food. One of the things that I always had in my mind that the sacrifices which my religion is actually demanding to me is it worth for? Because as far as I concerned, uh, as far as Jain books concerned, we were told not to consume food during evening time because insects can get in the food and we may end up consuming those insects. But the scientific reason is we should not consume heavy meals during evening time in order to remain healthy and to not to and to have uninterrupted sleep during the night. When I was in Delhi, I used to consider the festivals like Diwali, Dashera, Holi as the normal days. But after Coming to Bahrain, that is approximately 2,630 kilometers far away from Indian city, I realized the true value of our tradition and culture. I had a total cultural shift when I witnessed the different tradition of Bahrain and the people living in Bahrain from different parts of the country. Over the time, I realized the true essence of my culture. Friends, I have realized that these cultures and religions is not for meant for any extensive dreaming for. It is the only means to make the family together, come together and celebrate the rituals. It's not advised to follow the extreme point of view, rather to have pendulum approach and hang it between, and to have a better approach towards to follow the religion. My dear friends, I mentioned there are approximately 4,600 religions all over globe. So I request you all to please pay homage and respect all such religions because of the sentiments associated with all the populace. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mayank. That was an amazing, entertaining speech. Now, moving on to the next segment, we have an educational workshop this time. It is a very great opportunity for all of us to learn from one of our most experienced speakers, DTM Meenakshi Sundaram. I remember when I joined my speechcraft session, it was an amazing time. I was so curious to learn so many things. And I still remember one of the speeches I saw of him with the props using a rose and another contradictory props used. So I'm sure we all are going to have an amazing time learning from DTM Meenakshi. Can we please have a round of applause for DTM Meenakshi? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the Day, for the wonderful introduction. You have been doing a great job. You are, I'll say, dazzling, more than the lights that are there in the virtual background. I also want to thank our president, Toastmaster Venkat, for giving me this opportunity to serve you. Can I share the screen? Is it okay? Sorry, I'm just taking a few more minutes. Is it visible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, audible.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the topic I was given is to speak on how to write a speech. Now, if you have listened to speakers, we have some fantastic speakers in our club. For example, if you have listened to Ronak Desai, you will appreciate the beauty of writing. Very impactful, delightful speeches. You listen to Kapilji, you'll say it's like a poetry in motion. Sanjay Gupta, if you listen to his speeches, he's pouring the heart out in every speech. So each one have something unique. So what I'm trying to do now here is I'm going to give you a framework which you can use to bring the best in you. Ultimately, the speech is about you more than whatever you're going to speak. It's you. You are presenting yourself. So that's what is all about in any speech. So effective speech has got three important elements: content, package, and delivery. Now, delivery is something that I'm not going to cover today. So I'll be focusing mainly on content and package. Okay, I think I will probably go back to normal sharing. Okay. Okay. So content is basically the many questions that people have asked me is on basically content. You know, what you're going to speak. What is it you're going to choose to speak? So that's the main question. So I would give 3 areas which you have to focus on, starting with the knowledge, the information that you have. Now, for example, we are all chartered accountants, so we are all experts in our own domain. Maybe some people are handling tax, or some people are handling IFRS, pure accounting, or finance, internal audit. So we have tremendous information or knowledge in that particular field. So that's the area, that's one domain which you're going to choose when you're going to decide what you're going to speak on. The second is the experience. Now, if you listen to great speakers in our own field, if you take Amarjit Chopra ji or T.N. Manoharan, what they bring to the table is, besides the knowledge, the information that they have, their experience. And when they add their experience, the presentation is simply dazzling. So the second element that really adds to the topic, to the content, is the experience. The third one is the passion. Now, definitely you'll be knowing a lot of people who know so much. They have enormous amount of knowledge, and they also have experience. But the way they present, you will probably feel that the interest on that topic itself, it's not. You'll probably lose the interest. The appetite for learning is being lost sometimes. Why? Because they're not passionate about that. So the third element that makes a huge difference is the passion. So what is that you are passionate about? These 3 is what is going to decide your content. Now the question again, international speech contest, or in Toastmaster speeches, other than speaking to inform, the major portion of your speeches, mostly, if you see, it will be between the experience and passion. Now, your experience in your life and how it has impacted you, and how passionately you took that particular lesson into your life. When you can bring that onto the stage, you got international speech, a speech that can influence people. You may say that I don't have much of an experience. I mean, my life has been very simple and mundane life. So I don't have a great experience that I can talk about. It doesn't matter. You can speak on anything that is impacting you. I'll give you one example. This is actually a world champion of public speaking, Jim Key, 2003, I think. Just listen to his speech. Can you hear his volume shared?
When this happened, the movie that my family and I were watching was The Rookie. On the surface, it's a movie about the oldest rookie in professional baseball, but on a much deeper level, it's about reclaiming life's missed opportunities. When the movie ended and I realized what a great teaching opportunity I had, I turned to my 2 sons and I said, "Guys, what did you learn from this?" Imagine how proud I was when my 16-year-old said, "I learned that my dad cries at the movies." My 12-year-old took the question and his well-being a bit more seriously. He said, "I learned that it's never too late to follow your dreams." It's never too late to follow your dreams.
Now, see, this speech comes out from a simple movie. He went to watch a movie, there's a particular scene, and then they realize the message of the movie is that it's never too late. And then he made a speech out of that. So whenever people tell that, no, I don't have enough experience, it's not the experience, it's the perspective, what you're looking at. You can actually have experience every day in your life. There are multiple things happening. There are so many stories that we come across in everyday life, just that we are not seeing it. So you start watching, you start observing, you're going to get content for your speech. That's exactly the point. Simple. You don't have to have, something. People generally look at speeches and say that, no, he has suffered in his life, but I never had that kind of suffering. No need for you to suffer. Many great speeches. I mean, if you look at world champion speeches, most speeches are about delightful experiences. Very few speeches are about, troublesome experiences. So you don't have to think that there has to be a trouble in your life to speak. Every positive experience also can be a good speeches. So that's about content. Now, package. We talk about structure. The structure, you all know, it's opening, body, conclusion. That's what we talk about in structure. And I have received many questions on opening, how to make a strong opening, how to make an impactful opening. You don't really think about a strong opening or an impactful opening. You actually think about how your opening is going to lead you into your story. That's important. Once you're able to do that, you will automatically get an opening that can make an impact to the audience. Now, I want to give two examples.
You and I are not very different from this flower. Just like this flower is unique, you are unique. All of us has something special that makes us as beautiful. Do you know what makes you special? Now, the answer to that can be a little difficult to find, because sometimes life has a cruel way of picking out your petals, breaking you in two, and throwing you into the trash. And when you're broken, it's very difficult to feel special. Mr. Contest.
Okay, I want to play one more a clip from another winner, and then we'll have a discussion, few minutes.
What? All you all think smoking kills? Let me tell you something. Do you know that the amount of people dying from diabetes are 3 times as many people dying from smoking? Yet if I pulled a Snicker bar, nobody would say anything. Do you know that the leading cause of lung cancer is not actually a cigarette? It's your DNA. You could smoke for years and nothing will ever happen to you. This whole war against smoking is just to restrict the farming of tobacco.
Okay. Now, you have seen these two openings. What is the difference? What is that you feel that these two people have did something different? Like if you see Dhananjay, maybe someone can open your mic and answer my question. What is that you feel Dhananjay did?
Both of them use props.
Okay. Good. Any other observation? What? Yeah, Kapilji.
Can you ask again, please? I believe I missed it.
Yeah, the question is, these two people, the two openings, what is that you find similar and what is that you find different?
They have used sarcasm, both the speakers.
Sarcasm?
As in he's talking about cigarettes and diabetes, and he's explaining the contradictory effects.
Yeah, that is Katani. But Dhananjay, I don't see any sarcasm in his opening.
I mean, he's talking about the flower, he's smelling the flower, and then how it is, he's saying about being shattered, like the glory of the flower. And
okay, contrast, yes. But there is no sarcasm in that. Yeah. See, if you yeah, these are definitely, anyone else want to say something?
Both of them are directly engaging with the audience.
Okay, good. Yes.
Maybe he's trying to show his own perspective towards these things, and just showing his the own ideas about it, like that smoking, like the benefits of it.
Yeah, of course.
Both of them
every speech is our perspective. Yeah.
Both of them created curiosity.
Curiosity, yes. See, these are all the similarities. Kapilji, you want to say something? I'm not able to hear you.
We are not able to hear.
Okay, I think we lost him. Yeah, Kapilji, yes.
Yeah, both of them actually played with the audience emotions.
Yes. So these are similarities actually. But what happened, if you look at these two opening, Dhananjaya was explaining what he is going to speak in the opening itself. The entire message was given in the opening. Like, this is what happens to us. Like how this rose was, put into the trash bin. We're all sometimes thrown to the trash bin and difficult for us to get the value. So the message of the speech is given upfront. Whereas Mohammad Katani's opening was a twisted argument. He was not talking about what he is going to speak. Power of words, but he is not talking anything positive. He is saying something completely negative. It's a twisted argument. So opening, there are multiple ways of opening a speech. So if you look at Dhananjaya, did the problem itself is given upfront. That's what even Darren LaCroix did in his opening speech, in his speech, in the World Champion speech. Give the problem directly upfront in your opening. Lance Miller, he was giving the message indirectly. It's not direct, but indirectly giving the message. But if you look at Mohammad Katani, it's a twisted argument. But nonetheless, all of them took the audience in their stride. Like Darren LaCroix, if you look at, he was falling down on stage and staying there for more than probably 15 seconds or 20 seconds to get the audience attention. Dhananjaya bringing a flower on stage, getting the attention directly into that. Katani with a cigarette on stage got the attention. So everyone was grabbing attention, but in a different way. So different styles. You can give the problem up front or give a twisted argument. Don't give. Or if you talk about Aaron Beverly, he never mentioned message in his entire speech till conclusion. So there is no specific format. It can be anything as long as you're able to convince the audience to go with your flow. Now I'll go to conclusion, then I'll come to the body. Conclusion again, tied to the message. That's what Dhananjaya, Lance Miller. At the end of the day, conclusion has to be your message. If it has to carry the message that you want to give, if you've already given, you have to give it again. Aaron Beverly gave the message only in the conclusion. His entire speech was about experience. And the end, he gave the message. Or many people do that. They call for action. This is what I did. What you're going to do. That's a very normal way of concluding. But these are things that you can keep in mind for conclusion. Now, if I have to say about opening today, and I was just listening to Dasanand's speech. He had in the closing, he had an argument of undo. He could have brought it in the opening itself. Is there an undo button in our life? My parents wish that they had that, then tie it up with your closing. I'll just give an example. Transitions, opening, conclusion, body, transitions are smooth, it has to be connecting. Then support material. Now, support material in a speech contest is purely experience. And I just want to play this particular clip of Lance Miller.
Fellow Toastmasters and friends, I was 26 years old. I was living in a small town in Indiana. I had a job I didn't like. I hadn't had a date in 3 years. And I had a couple of roommates named Mom and Dad. I felt like my life was going nowhere. So I took control. I left my home and my family, and I headed to Los Angeles to start over. 6 months later, I had a job I didn't like. I was dating a girl who was trying to make me better by pointing out all of my faults. And I had a couple of roommates that made Dumb and Dumber look like Einstein and Oppenheimer. I had changed everything in my life, but nothing had changed. I still felt like I was going nowhere. And then one day after a business meeting, all I wanted to do was get my parking validated. And I walked over to the receptionist and said, "Excuse me, do you validate?" And she looked up and said, "Well, yes, I do. You have a lovely smile." Showing her the ticket, I said, "No, I was just in a meeting with your boss. Do you validate?" And she said, "Well, let me compliment you on what a fine choice of business associates you have." Catching on, I said, "You have such a keen sense of humor. I'm going to go tell your boss how lucky he is to have you out here." And she goes, "Give me that ticket." She took her little machine and she went, cha-chink. And then...
Okay, so that's another world champion speech. See, this experience, actually, if you look at again, it's not something, it's a very simple experience. All of us have probably gone through this experience in our life. And there is a lesson that he has picked up. And that is bringing on stage. So support material is, again, for international speech contest or any speech that we do in Toastmasters is our experience. Leave Toastmasters. Even if a professional presentation, support material mostly is going to come from your experience. Because you are going to make a presentation on VAT, for example. You can talk about what is there in the law, what is mentioned in the rules. But when you substantiate that with your experience in handling a particular case where you have to, interpret something, audience are going to like it. And they're going to retain it more. Now, forensic accounting, if you ask me one of the dry subject, Chetan Dalal, the way he comes and makes presentation, it makes it very interesting because he comes out with every personal experience that he has had, substantiate with a point and give it to us. So personal experience makes a huge difference, not just in Toastmaster speeches, but also in every speech that you want to give, even professional presentations. So support material is basically your personal stories from other people's life also. Like, for example, Mohammad Khatani, his entire speech was based on someone else's experience. In fact, I think I came to know that it was not even his friend. It was his friend's friend, which he made as a speech. So it can be from another person's life. And professional presentations, of course, we talk about case studies, research materials. In international speech, research materials definitely is going to help you, but not much. Probably you have to give us outline to support your, whatever points you want to make. You want to give a research, you can probably use it. I don't know whether you can see the picture. What is the difference between these two pictures? If you find any difference. These are obviously from the safety cards that you are displayed in the aircraft, but there are two different safety cards. Message is same, but there is one difference. The difference is the one on top is probably for a smaller aircraft. So you see there is no door, it's a window, it's an emergency window. Whereas the one below is an emergency door. So the point here is the message is same, but you have to fit to the audience. So wherever you are presenting, the kind of audience you are presenting, accordingly you have to modify it. Now this applies very much in Toastmasters. If you're competing, when you are going to area level, you have to probably modify your speech a bit. Next level, you have to modify more than that. And if you're competing in district, you have to modify it so much actually. And this we have gone through. It's a punctual speech when the way we prepared his speeches from area to division to district. Even my speech that underwent a lot of changes. We have done in the past. When Ronak, when he went to district, his speech went through multiple iterations, small changes, but significant changes. So audience changes, you have to modify the way you present your message. Same message, but the way you present has to be fitting to the audience. Yeah, when writing a speech, it's very important that you leave scope for vocal variety, body language, and humor. You're not going to find body language and vocal variety the way you deliver a speech. When you're writing your speech in your mind, you are preparing yourself that this is how I am going to speak. So your scripting gives you a scope for vocal variety or body language. For example, if I take from one of my speeches, I was talking about my teacher. I could have said he's a very strict teacher, but instead I narrated how he looks, short, well-built, with a big mustache. So I gave scope for vocal variety as well as body language. So the way you script your speeches, you give scope. And then humor. We have seen Jim Key, you have seen Katani, also Lance Miller. The humor comes from a normal sentence. They are not trying to bring humor and insert in a speech. Normal description, for example, Lance Miller was talking about a couple of roommates and then said mom and dad. It's a small twist. So whatever you are saying, just give a twist and see how can you bring humor. Because if you think that you want to bring humor and work on it, probably you may not get it. But for humor, like as I said, for observing what happens in your life, humor also you have to keep observing. And whenever you get some kind of a humor idea, write it down, because you may not be able to use it immediately, but sometime in future, in some other speeches, probably you will be able to exactly place it. So write down whatever you feel that there is a humor in something that has happened. It will come in handy. But vocal variety, body language, and humor is all in writing. Maybe you have to write multiple times. And Kapilji is expert in bringing humor in speeches. He can probably tell you how difficult it is to, get humor and make humor work for you. You have to keep trying, because sometimes with some audience it works, with some audience it will not work. It doesn't matter actually. You have to keep trying. I probably want to give an example of, I think it's Mark Randolph, the co-founder of Netflix. He said in his book, he mentioned that it's like nobody knows anything. That's the mantra of life. People can come and make presentation. This is how you have to make your speech. It may not work. You have to keep trying, and what works for you is only by trial and error you will know that this works for me and this I can do better. So keep trying. Nobody knows anything. I can give you whatever I have learned, but it may not even fit you. You have to learn from your own experience and make that speech. But while writing, you have to give a scope for vocal variety and body language and humor. Language, I'm not an expert actually. My speeches are not filled with great vocabulary. It's very simple sentences, but I strive hard to get a good words sometimes, because judges after a particular level may not be in the club level, may not be in the area level, but if you go to division and district, there is a 5 points for grammar and language, and that 5 points can make a huge difference between the winner and the second place winner, because there the judges are looking for the whole aspect. So if your language is good, you're going to get the point. I think I missed the timer. I don't know where is he. Am I on time or am I running late?
Only overshoot by 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, then I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Meenakshi, if you want, you can, give if something important is left out, you can pass on, because educational session is more important considering the contest ahead for us. We can tailor our meeting. We already planned for it.
No, I think I more or less covered the questions that I got. See, the questions are basically on topic selection. Someone asked how you can select a topic which will be appealing to judges and the audience. I mean, you can never say that this is a particular topic that people will like. You can't. It's what you like, what has impacted you. Because at the end of the day, when you speak from an experience that has given impact to you, you can expect either the same level of impact or less than that with the audience. It will not be more, unless of course you are a performer, stage performer. That's a different thing. But generally, every experience that you speak, the impact you felt, you will be able to give same impact or less than that. Because again, the audience are going to connect for the experience from their experience, not necessarily with your experience. And then you are using it as a connecting point to bring to the message. So I would recommend, if you want to choose the topic that you think that it will be impactful, is the one that you feel impacted in your life. That's the only thing I can say for topic. For other opening and conclusion, again, whatever your message is, so you have to link it to that message. And bringing humor, see, what amount of class, any amount of go for workshops, whatever you go, it's again personal experience. You have to keep trying. See, Panchu, for example, who is considered as one of the top humorous speakers in our club, it took 2 years for him to even start delivering humorous speeches where people can laugh. The first 2 years in the contest, when he was competing in ICAB, he was not able to leave the impact of the audience. He had the content, but he was not knowing exactly how to get the speech or get the humor fall in a particular place which will make audience laugh. So you have to experience it. So it took 2 years for him to get that idea of how humor will impact the audience. So I can tell whatever I have learned, but at the end of the day, you have to go through the cycle. You have to grind yourself. Try it out. This is what something. I mean, I've told this many times in the past. Toastmasters is actually a great learning platform. It's a laboratory for us. It's a lab. You come here, experiment with yourself. What works for you? What is not going to work for you? What you can improve? Do everything you want in this place, and make yourself, a better person. Winning, that's a bonus. That's how I always approached every contest, every speech assignment that I got in ICAB. It's always an experiment for me. What is it I am going to get out of it? What is it I'm going to try something new to make me a better speaker, a better person? That's what. So I mean, I think I've taken away from contest to a different thing, but this is my experience. I'm sure Kapilji can also add. He's also competing for last 13 years. Kapilji, you are muted. I can't hear.
Not hearing.
Very, very, very important part. If you are able to set your humor right, your chances of winning a contest multiply.
Yes.
Right? Now the thing is, there are so many types of humor, but as Meenakshi said, one type of humor will not fit everywhere. So you have to know your audience. For example, the British humor is very, very dry, right? They say simple sentences and people laugh, and many times we just keep looking at it, what's happening here. But whereas in our Indian culture, we believe more in direct humor, to take a jibe on others or ourselves. So you have to understand the audience, and according to that, you have to tailor your humor. That is one tip I can give.
Yes. Okay, if there is any questions, we can probably take. Otherwise, I think we can move on. I think I only took more time. So
I think I have a question, Meenakshi.
Yes, sir.
See, lot of you spoke, and rightfully, on the opening, conclusion, how you tie up your messages, whether you deliver your message in the opening itself or the conclusion. But I had some difficulty understanding the pauses, and each evaluation, what I have experienced, that my evaluator will say you take the rightful pause. And I have seen in international contests, the speakers are taking pause of more than 7 seconds, 9-10 seconds. So how to take that pause and still have the, I mean, that confidence to connect again in the same zeal, and I mean in that same continuation.
Practice. It's all practice actually. See, pauses. I can tell you why people take longer pauses, because if you say it as a humor, for example, you don't know whether humor is going to work or not. So you have to have a pause, and it should appear as if you are, confident, you are normal, even though if they're not laughing. So that comes only with practice. Similarly, when you are giving a particular point, and the point to get down into people's mind, you have to allow time. So that's why they give that pause. That 7 seconds pause is actually not. If you look at, there are people who are given longer pauses also. Some people go for 15 seconds also. But again, it depends on the impact of a particular point. And if you feel that that particular point deserves to have a longer pause, you can go with that actually. See, there is no strict formula that you should not give pause more than 3 seconds, you lose audience. No, it depends on what you want to deliver, how you want to deliver. Now, President Vasilev, his speech itself is only 400 words. He had long pauses, and he still won the World Championship. So there is no fixed, rule. You have to do your own rule. You have to come out with your own rule, but that needs experience. So every time you go there, you keep trying. Probably you'll be able to master it. But pauses, again, it's practice.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Kapilji.
I would just add to Meenakshi, sometimes you have to see the size of audience. You see the reaction of people, especially the humor, is contagious. If one person starts laughing loudly, you will see many people will start it. It will trickle down to the whole audience. So if you are in a hall of 500 people, you might have a pause. Still, you can make some gestures with those pause to keep connected with the people, yet let them assimilate the humor in whatever you have said.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, see, sometimes people continue the same gesture. For example, you are doing something which has actually made the brought the laughter. So you don't have to say anything, but you can continue the action. Or if it is a very, very important point, you can actually just look around the stage, the audience, to give the impact. And humor, definitely, yes. The audience, if you have size, the number is more, then the laughter also can be more. So you need to give more pauses. So that way you have to prepare your speech in such a way, expecting the laughter. Of course, in the digital one, you don't know whether they're laughing or not. That's a different experience. But when you're delivering on stage and you have more than 100 people on the hall as an audience, then you can expect a longer laughter. So you need to prepare your script also accordingly.
Thank you
I
so
think-
much, DTM Meenakshi.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for this enlightening session. And thank you, TM Kapilji, as well, for such great inputs. Now, moving on to the next exciting session, we have a very dynamic Toastmaster, Ankur, who has taken up this, who has volunteered to take up this role and conduct this session in a very unique way. His great moments of Diwali, he said he loves the sweets and the dahi balla which his mom makes for Diwali. I'm sure he's having the great time of the occasion. Can I please welcome TM Ankur to take up this session? Over to you.
Good evening, everybody. And great Diwali wishings to all of you. Although it is a belated Diwali wishing, but still everybody is still in a mood of celebrating Diwali. So I have been given the role of the table topic master. So actually, the table topics is an art of improvisation. It helps us to develop our vital communication skills such as listening, thinking, organizing, and delivering. The topics that I have prepared for you will hopefully help all of us become better at improvisation. We at the Toastmaster give the opportunities to our members as well as the guests which join us in this session. Now, I would like the speakers to use the word of the day, which is dazzling, more and more wherever appropriate they feel it. I hope everyone gives it a shot, and I may randomly call anyone to participate, or you can volunteer yourself by raising your hand. Before we begin, I think the timer has already given us the time guideline, but let me just speak out once again that 1 minute is the minimum time. 1:30 is generally the target time, and limit yourself to 2 minutes. But after 2:30, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will be disqualified. I would like to ask, let me choose one of the Toastmaster. If I may choose Toastmaster Maya for one of the table topics. The table topic for you, Toastmaster Maya, is that imagine yourself as a class 5 student, and how would you like to spend 100 dinars received from your parents on Diwali? Over to you, Ms. Maya.
Good evening, Toastmasters and friends. 100 dinar for a grade 5 student. Had I been in that shoes, I would not even know how to spend it, because when I was in grade 5, it was only my father who used to work. And at that time, mostly it was just one member of the family who used to work, who used to be the breadwinner. And we were taught to spend each and every paisa. We were taught to value each and every paisa. And I believe today 100 dinar would be approximately 20,000 rupees. So say some 30 years back, 20,000 was a huge amount. I could have brought many dresses for myself. I could have brought many jewels for myself while being a girl with many dreams. I could have invested a lot in books, in educational material. But more than that, I was also taught how to save money, how to invest for the rainy days. So I would have probably saved some part of the money to use in my rainy days as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Maya. I would like Kapil Batra sir to speak on one of the topics which I have chosen. And the topic for you, sir, is tell your story of bursting a cracker gone wrong.
Okay, busting a cracker gone wrong. My story. Busting a cracker on. My goodness. That night, I was so much frightened that I could not sleep next 3 nights. I had put a rocket, which was not in my pocket, into the bottle. And as I lit it, it went and it landed on my neighbor's bicycle seat. And you can understand that someone who has lost his seat, how furious he will be. And so was he. He literally ran behind me and I ran like the rocket. Because I was younger and more energetic, he could not get hold of me and I survived somehow. But I was thinking, had it not been the seat, but had he been sitting on that, how would it be? And for next few nights, I was seeing the dream of him being burned by the rocket and coming to me to grab me to burn myself along with him. That's what had happened to me. I wish it doesn't happen to you because you have in your background so many crackers. Beware, it should not fall on you, Uncle. Back to you.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think I have to see the time clock also running short. We are only left with a few minutes. So let me keep myself short on this. And I will ask Radhika to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankur. Amazing topics. I'm sure it was quite entertaining for all of us. I would like to hand over the control to President TM Venkat for the business session.
Thank you, TM Modi. Let me quickly start the business session for today's meeting. Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Mayank, do you have anything to report to the members?
Yes, I have already communicated with previous Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Ikanch. During this upcoming weekend, we are planning to meet and I'll just collect all the material from him.
Thank you. VP PR, are you with us? Yeah. Toastmaster Janaki, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I would, first of all, happy Diwali to all of you. And I would like to thank each and every member for contributing for the last voice, which we had, the 15-year celebration of our voice. It was a great input, not only by the members, but also by the family members. So thank you so much, everyone. And now for the next quarter, the theme for our voice will be success stories. So you all can start writing on your own success stories. It can be anything on your success, your Toastmaster journey, the speech crafters, about your speech crafter journey. How did you win? But it's not necessary. It is that how did you win? Because sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. So it can also be about your success, about what did you learn in this journey. So most importantly, the theme is about success stories. It can be anything about your own journey. So start writing and you can email me. I will send you my email address in the group again. So that's all from my side. Over to the president.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm going randomly. So now I think I see the secretary, Secretary Toastmaster Clifford. You want to report something to the members?
Yeah, the meeting of 384
has been circulated. So can somebody propose and second it, please?
Please, the members who have attended the meeting and who have read the minutes, kindly someone propose it and others can second it. Anyone can second it. People who have attended 384 meeting. Yeah, I think Bharat is proposing.
And who was it?
I think you can take it from
Kunjan.
yeah, Bharat and Kunjan.
Okay.
Thank you. And anything else, Toastmaster Secretary?
No, that's it.
Yeah. Would you not like to put up a questions today?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. I'll put it on the chat box. And kindly reply to me in the private chat.
Yes.
After
So
the business meeting, yeah.
After the business session, the secretary is going to drop a questions on the minutes of the meeting. Whoever will respond correctly and whoever respond fast, he would be eligible for the winning points. And now treasurer has already conveyed to me because he is excused from the meeting due to his official commitment. There are nothing much to report to the members. Now, after this, let us go quickly to the VIP membership. Toastmaster Kunjan, do you have something to report to the members?
Yes. Dazzling Toastmasters, the journey so far has been really dazzling for me as VP membership. And I am sure you all would have gone through the voice wherein I had put in a message. I would like to just take it further, recapitulate and echo my message once again. With your all support and great enthusiasm, we have had new memberships added. More than five memberships we added in the last 4 months. And I would request you all that in your connects and associates or whoever you know wants to come on this path-breaking journey of leadership and public speaking skills, please connect me, that person to me, and we would welcome them to this ICAB club. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cliff Kunjan. Now, VP Education, Toastmaster Bharat, would you like to share something?
Yes, good evening. Trust everyone had a dazzling Diwali. With respect to the next agenda point, we are having a contest next month. So we had a great session from DTM Meenakshi on how to prepare a speech and its various factors we need to take into consideration. So probably I would encourage all our members to start writing their speeches so that there is enough time to prepare and also bounce it with the mentors so that they are ready when we are having the contest on the second week of December. The dates have been already put in the group with respect to the international speech, the humor speech, the eligibility for the international speech, as well as we encourage everybody to please participate all for the table topics as well as evaluations. There's no preparation needed for that, just some groundwork with respect to you have to prepare yourself while answering your table topics or evaluations. So other than that, I think it's pretty much laid out for this month. So I hope people participate in large numbers. Over to you.
Thank you, VP Education. To emphasize what VP Education has put forward, the contest season is coming up, which is very, very crucial for the club. So please, whatever you are learning, the contest is the best place to evaluate yourself and learn further also. Table topic is no exception. As a customary practice, every member of the ICAB will participate in the table topic. Now, this year being a virtual, even if you are in India, you can always participate in table topic. So just prepare yourself. Don't give any excuses that day. Table topic session, everybody will participate on that contest. So with this, I request again what VPPR has told. Please share your articles in for a voice. That is going to be a good memory and legacy for us. And you can improve your writing skills also while submitting your voice articles. I have nothing much to say. And over to you, TMOD. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President. Now, further moving on to the general evaluation, I would like to introduce amongst us DTM Raymond Pereira, who is the general evaluator for the meeting. He is a very dynamic personality. He has performed varied leadership roles in many prestigious Toastmaster clubs. He has trained multiple club officers and chief judges. Apart from winning contests in almost every category, be it humorous, international, or table topics, he has also adjudged many area and district level contests. He was an active member of 2018-19 event, Find Your Voice, with world champion Toastmaster Mohammad Katani. On the professional front, he calls himself as the IT nerd, being passionately tech savvy. So please welcome a very versatile personality, DTM Raymond Pereira. Can we all have a huge round of applause? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmasters Day, for a fabulous introduction, and wishing each one of you a dazzling and warm, blessed Diwali. Today, my role as a general evaluator is to oversee the entire meeting from start to end to see what went right and what areas that the club can improve. Now, before we go to that, as per your club customary rules, we will check with the timer if the speakers for today, which is the prepared speakers, as well as the table topics, are qualified to be voted for the best speaker and the best table topics. So timer, has everybody qualified?
You want to individual time or only the summary?
No, just tell me if all have qualified, just to save time. If not, just mention those who have not qualified.
No, it's all are qualified.
All are qualified.
Both table topic and prepared speech.
Lovely. So the president of the club, may we have a voting now for these two categories?
Sure, Ji. Thank you. I will just launch the poll. Please, you can vote.
Please do.
I've just launched the poll. Kindly vote so that
I'm not able to vote, President.
Even I am not able to vote, I think, because we are the
You're-
co-hosts.
We are
Yeah.
co-host. Yeah. Make us as a host.
okay. Let me remove you from the voting. Withdraw co-host. Withdraw co-host.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I think Meenakshi, yes, done. I think all are withdrawn from the co-host. I hope now it's fine.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm ending the poll. Is fine?
Only we got it for the prepared speech. What about table topic?
I'm launching the second one. Just a second. The next one, table topic. Yes. Okay, I'm closing. Thank you, everyone. G, we finished the votings. You can continue with the session. We will announce the results at the end.
Thank you, President of the club. Starting with my general evaluation. To do a general evaluation, it is not just me, but I have a team of fabulous Toastmasters in different areas of today's meeting. Starting with the speech evaluators, we had 3 fabulous speeches. They were dazzling in all aspects of delivery, content, and more. But to hear more details, let me call out the speech evaluators for today. For the first speech, which was by Toastmaster Dashanand, the evaluator was Toastmaster Flannel. Toastmaster Flannel, may you please come on screen and read out your evaluation.
Good evening, everybody. Our dazzling Toastmaster Darshanan, may I congratulate you on giving such a wonderful speech and such a wonderful delivery. To quote, all our dreams will come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So let me congratulate you also for your courage to pursue the Toastmaster journey. Although this was just your first project, I could not sense a speck of fear in you. So that was truly a dazzling thing to watch. May I start with what I believe you are excellent at? There were three factors which I really loved of your speech. The first was your opening. Your opening was very strong, and also the structure of your speech was also very good. From the start till the end, that is from your childhood till where you are now, we were able to walk the journey with you. So kudos to you for being able to present it to us virtually in our imaginations. The second thing that I love the most is you added a touch of interactiveness. You asked questions, although it is virtual, that made us want to think of the answers and made us listen to you more. So you grabbed our attention by using questions, and that was very interactive. So that is another thing that I really liked about your speech. Another thing, which I think is your strong strength point, is your hand gestures. Now, one thing that I really liked is when you were delivering your speech and you wanted to express your emotions, you were using your hands strongly in what you were delivering. So I really like that, and please keep it up. It was hard for me to identify what you could add to your vast arsenal, but I'll try my best to do justice. There are three things that I noticed you could work on, in my personal opinion. One, voice modulation. You were loud and clear. Kudos to you for that. But I feel you could have worked on your tone and your volume. Your tone could be, when you had to say something exciting, you could be, that was brilliant. This was okay. So you could modulate the tone of your voice to convey an emotion. You could also use your volume. This was really good, but this was really low. So I think you could have also modulated your volume too. So that attracts the audience attention, and that gives us to want to listen to you more. Also, your body language. I know this is a virtual screen, and due to the circumstances, you cannot move around a little bit, but you were standing idle over there. So what I would recommend is you try to move around a little bit, just like Toastmaster Mayank. Perhaps you could stand a little far, come a little close, move to the left, move to the right, just, in just certain areas, so it would really leave an impression on us. And last point that I feel that you could work on, again, is the gestures. Now, I know I did compliment you on your hand gestures, but there were some part of the speech where you were just keeping your hand here and saying what you had to say. So we were not able to feel your emotion because your hands were blocking that. So that's another area you could improve on. So overall, it was fantastic. And may I just say, where there is a stepping stone, there is a milestone. So kudos to your milestone. Well done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Flannel, for a very constructive, very uplifting and motivating evaluation, especially for an icebreaker speech. My only suggestion to you is when you conclude and summarize, just get back your main points and you will do really well in your evaluation skills. Moving on to the second speaker for today, which is Toastmaster Nishit, and the speaker's evaluator is Toastmaster Raunak. Toastmaster Raunak, may you take over the screen, please?
Thank you, DTM General Evaluator. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Toastmaster Nishit, you are a natural speaker. I mean, the moment you started speaking and whenever you speak, as an audience, I feel that you know what you are speaking. I mean, you are confident. The way you use pauses and the flow in which you talk seems that you are having a control on what you want to speak. You are a good storyteller. You understood the concept of building up a story. There was clear characterization in the story, father and son. There was circumstance, the event which the Sheikh did for the son, and there was a conflict that the son was doing something which Sheikh was not able to understand. This is how, as an audience, I could get involved in the story because there were clarity in your story build-up. You are a professional speaker. Your understanding about your speech is far superior than the audience because there was a deeper message. Now, you have to come down to the level of audience when you are delivering a speech. That is the key takeaway for you for today's speech. While I was thinking that this story will go on to touch an emotional chord with the audience, it ended up giving a message on a very practical note. For example, when you ended the story, we were talking about the miserliness of the dads. So I thought you would come to a message which appreciate the dad, but then the message communicated was to understand the rule of the game. So at your level, at a higher intellectual level, you might be thinking that I understood, so everyone will understand. But as a good speaker, we tend to, or confident speaker, we tend to get carried away with our understanding. We find it difficult to come to the level of the audience. We are all here professionals, and with good story, we can grasp the concept very well. So if you could have simplified the story and matched with understanding the rule of the game, instead of using the story of son and father, you could have, instead of using the miserly part of the father, you could have used the same story in a different setting wherein the father pushes the son into something and son fails, and then father tells the son that you should first understand the rule of the game and then try to attempt it. This could have really supported your message, which later came in the part of the story. That was a key takeaway for you. To summarize, there was a sense of confidence. You are extremely comfortable with your speech. You are extremely comfortable with storytelling, but you have to work on weaving the story to deliver the right message. Thank you. Over to you, DTM. Evaluate.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ronak, for an amazing evaluation. Now, what I loved about your evaluation, where you highlighted what you have picked up as an audience, and that is something really good and vivid. However, just as a suggestion, when you have a speaker who's just doing his project too, you need to focus more on the speech that he has already delivered and find areas that he could work on, rather than looking at him as a person and moving away from his speech. And this is one thing when you do in competitive evaluation, we focus more on what was already delivered. And that would make you observe even more powerfully and making you a very, very powerful evaluator. But great work on your evaluation. Thank you, Toastmaster Raunak. Moving to the third speaker for today, which is Toastmaster Mayanak, and the speaker's evaluator was Toastmaster Ignash. Toastmaster Ignash, the screen is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Mayank Agarwal, I hope your parents were not watching your speech. This was one of your best speeches and it truly made an impact. I was glued to the screen and hardly got the time to make notes. However, some of the things I could also relate to, being born in a typical Bania family, where you had to bear the burden of same surnames. I had to bear the same surnames, but with a different spellings. Aggarwal, Agarwal, Agrawal. Even the founder of our faith would not be able to figure out which one is right. Also, my mother did not even allow onion and garlic inside the kitchen, and I used to bring momos to tease her. I really like the way you started your speech with a question. Do you know how many religions are there? So job well done, because questions, facts, quotes, or jokes keep the audience engaged because it's a virtual platform. We all know people love to laugh, and you use a good amount of witty humor in your speech. Now coming to logistics, you had immaculately arranged yourself in front of the camera. Your speech was thoroughly audible and all your movements could be captured within the screen. All said and done, in order to ensure parity in my evaluation, I would like to point out certain areas of improvement. You could have projected upset emotion with a sad face. I could see that you had a straight face throughout your speech. Also, I could not comprehend as to why you were coming close to the camera quite often. Once or twice it looked unique. You could have used gestures when you were projecting you were single or when you were married. Non-violence could have been projected with joined hands and a smile. We would really love to see you smile, Toastmaster Mayank. Further, I could notice that you were closing your eyes every time you wanted to emphasize on something. I don't know whether it was natural or intentional. Also, I believe the title of the speech could have been something else. I was not able to fully connect to the title. It could be something like Pendulum of Faith or Cultural Pendulum. So this is how you could do even better. If you would have done this, the speech would have been more gripping. Overall, it was a well-delivered speech, suitably served the purpose of the project, and a must-watch for people like me who have been raised in stereotypical families. I always look forward to hear from you, my neighbor from India, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ignash, for a very humorous and lively evaluation. I really love the way you did it, and I really love the way you even summarized. Just one point of note, I noticed you gathered a lot of evaluation feedback, so that's really great. However, you did say it was so good that I didn't write anything, so it countered with each other. So just make sure that you don't start off negative upon yourself. Otherwise, well done. Really, really good. Now, as customary for your club, I believe you will have the best evaluator voted for now. Timer, can you please tell me if all the evaluators were within time?
Yeah, all are within time. All are qualified.
Wonderful. Thank you to the timer of today for a fabulous job done. President of the club, may we have voting for the best evaluator?
Yes. I request everybody to vote, please. Okay. 3, 2, 1. I'm closing the poll. Thank you.
Thank you, President of the club, for conducting the voting for the best evaluator. Now, moving to my second area of evaluation, which is the speaking skills with the grammarian and our counter. And for that, we have Toastmaster Sam Charles. Toastmaster Sam, the screen is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. The word of the day was dazzling, and I'm really happy that everyone has used it. Like all the speakers have used it, like Radhika and Shanand, they have used it like at least a minimum of 4 times. For our counter, I would say, yeah, everyone has said and all. There were a few repetitions as well, which I have taken note, but I don't know whether it is my internet which was slow or because of which I felt there were some R's and ums. There were some good usages of the words which I heard. We are extremely bedazzled by the theme. All our dreams will come true if we pursue them. Where there is a stepping stone, there is a milestone. Even though God has not given us undo button in our life, however, He has given much more powerful option of redo. Radhika, in her like when she was giving her first about the Diwali celebrations in different places, there was one slight mistake that she made. There is fireworks all night going on, but instead it should be there is fireworks going on all night. I for the education session, I was more glued on to listening to the speeches, so I couldn't do justice to listening to noting down good usages of the English language. But then I'm sure that everyone was really good and up to the mark. And thank you. And over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sam Charles, for a wonderful language evaluation. Moving on now to the final part, which is the total club evaluation of today's meeting, and that is my role. The meeting started on time. I'm so happy for that. Time is of great importance. The guest was introduced, the agenda was adopted, and the president set the mood of today's meeting by opening the meeting, and he was really lively. And that lively experience was carried forward by the dynamic and dazzling Toastmaster of the day. What I really love about the Toastmaster of the day today is she took great effort to maintain the theme throughout the meeting. Many times that doesn't happen in many clubs, but it happened today. Well done. I really love that experience. Now, the speeches was fabulous. Looks like a lot of effort was taken, and the speeches were practiced and conducted and delivered today. The evaluators did a fabulous job. Minor areas to work on, and it was really, really good. I love the whole fact that the entire IT process, from voting to presentations on screen, everything was flawless with a minor glitch here and there, but it's okay. But there was no major loss of time on the IT aspect of things. Now, coming to room for improvement, though time was perfect, as in it started on time, we did not maintain the time. I was following up the agenda at what time will be what. We were way beyond, and it kept on increasing. One of the suggestions for the TMOD and the president is try to catch up with time. When that's what the table topic master did. When he realized that we are losing out of time, he cut short his session, which was sad but needed. And well done, table topic master. One thing about the workshop, though it was amazing and it needs to be done regularly, is that yes, it went a little beyond time, but when the time was mentioned, DTM Meenakshi, you don't need to end abruptly. That's why the president came to the rescue and you continued a bit, and that was needed. Because when you end abruptly, it breaks the call to message at the end. What is our action plan at the end of the meeting? However, it was a fabulous workshop. I believe at the time of contest, we need a lot of such workshops. And members, please apply whatever you learn in your workshop, not only for the contest, but even for your day-to-day life as well. I had a bit of a distraction with the timer because the timer's background is red by default. So every time I was looking at him, I was like, okay, which red was this? Was his normal red background, or was it the speaker already at the red color? So start with a different color as a suggestion. You could make it pink, you can make it any other color except the three colors. So that's just a technical suggestion. Now, for my group of evaluators, who are the speech evaluators, one of the biggest challenges as an evaluator is to find out what good the speaker did. We had a lot of areas of improvement, but a very few areas that the speakers did amazingly well. So there are two challenges I have for y'all. One is to find maximum good, and two, find unique good. It is easy to say that, oh, your vocal variety was great, you had great characters and so on. These are very simple points, but go deeper, more and more deeper into the speech, and take out areas that imagine you're in a contest and take out areas that nobody will find. And this is how you will improve your evaluation skills. One suggestion for the grammarian, because he got distracted, one of my tips when I am a grammarian is I close my eyes. Because when I look at the speaker, I get distracted, I get absorbed, I get taken over, and I lose my role. But when I close my eyes, I emphasize on my hearing. I hear more, watch less. This way, I do justice to the role of an accountant, a grammarian, and I am not disturbed or distracted by anything that happens. Because if a speaker started to perform, I'm lost. So this is one of the suggestions one of my mentors taught me, and it works really well. So try it out. Just close your eyes and listen more for the entire meeting. Overall, love the meeting, love the theme, maintained really well, highly professional club, very dedicated and great bonding with the members. Maintain that, and this club will do really well and go for another 1,000 meetings from today onwards. With that, this is my report, signing out as General Evaluator Raymond Pereira. Over to the President of the day, I suppose.
Thank you, General Evaluator. DTM Raymond Pereira, thank you so much for taking out your time and joining us in this special meeting. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for our G who has taken out his time all the way. Thank you to COVID. We got all various Toastmasters across the District 20 to get in touch with each other. Last time, I think we have got DTM, our Murali, Annadata, Murali. He was with us. You have joined us today, and I hope in going forward, we could have more and more Kuwait leaders to be part of the ICAB. Now, before I go ahead and declare results, a big round of applause for our Toastmaster of the day, who has taken up such a wonderful theme and given a full justice to make this meeting really dazzling and a memorable one. So, Toastmaster Radhika, a job well done, and I hope going forward, you will take up much more roles in the club to improve yourself as well as a good session for the members. Now, we have a couple of guests. I would like to start with C2A Club President, Toastmaster Maya, because Toastmaster Maya is very well known among the club members. So I have taken a liberty to keep her, to take her, what do you call, feedback at the end. Toastmaster Maya, would you like to share something to the ICAB members? Maya, you're mute.
Well, ICAB President, rather than me sharing anything with you all, I have in fact gained a lot from today.
You're on mute, Maya.
Yeah. Rather than me sharing anything with you, I must thank you all for today's meeting, because I have learned a lot from all the evaluators, from the speakers, and the general evaluator in particular. Thanks a lot for all the information that I've got today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Maya. It is really indeed. Now, before I go to DTM Meenakshi, can I toast our guest, Shaila Shaj Khan is available still among us? No, I think she's off from the meeting. Now, a big round of applause for DTM Meenakshi for taking out such a great educational session. And I'm happy that many of our new joiners are all part of the meeting. And it would be really helpful while drafting our speeches for the club contest. And I suggest everyone to incorporate these tips so that you can make a wonderful preparation for the contest. And please get in touch with your mentors, share the speech in advance so that they could give their valuable suggestions. Now, let me quickly show the results. Let me start with best speaker results. We have a tie. Let me share the results. I hope all of you could see. It is a Toastmaster Nishit and Toastmaster Mayank who both got equal votes. So big round of applause for both the speakers. All the speaker winners will be awarded when we start our physical meetings. We have already kept a note of all the winners and all will be awarded. Sure, Ji has been giving up one more suggestion that definitely we will have one more session on this to work on the technicalities. Definitely it will be very helpful. Now let me share the results of the table topic. The clear winner here is Toastmaster Kapil sir. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Kapil for table topic session. And a big round of applause for table topic master Toastmaster Ankur, who has really did great job today, who has not only explained his role, and he also ensured that the table topic session has been adjusted according to the meeting timing. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Ankur. Now the best evaluator, Toastmaster Ekansh, for his meticulous evaluation. So big round of applause for Toastmaster Ekansh. Thank you, everyone. With this, I would like to conclude the meeting number 386. Good day and good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
One more thing.
Good night, everybody.
I kept the meeting on live on YouTube, so you can all share. I have already shared the link in the registered group. You can go and visit your speeches as well on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Radhika. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a
Good
nice
night.
weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.